Welcome.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly.
La 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 la. I didn't know. I just didn't know what
So
to
I
do.
was trying to do a harmony, but you, I think, were trying to follow the harmony.
Oh, that's why you were doing it.
Don't go chasing harmonies. That's what TLC said. Don't go chasing harmonies.
Please stick to the rhythm like you used to.
Hi, everyone
Hi.
who's still listening. This is Stay F Homekins. My name is Paul F. Tompkins.
My name is Janie Haddad Tompkins.
I am a comedian.
I am an actress.
We are a married couple living in Los Angeles, and this is our after dinner podcast.
We drop it once a month.
Once a month.
Once a month.
We just drop it once a month.
Barcelona. Ibiza. Once a month. The second Friday.
Do you remember when J-Lo rhymed Ibiza with Africa?
Good for her.
Good.
I like
You
that.
go, girl.
I like that. It's creative.
I like when a lady forces a rhyme.
It's creative.
It's creative.
It's creative. Well, here we are. Thanks for hanging in with us this year. It's our final drop of the year.
I can't believe
Final episode of the year.
Every December, it feels like the year has rushed by, right?
I have some notes on this year.
Oh, sure.
Got some notes.
But I mean, did you feel like it moved quickly, or do you feel like it dragged?
I don't think.
Period.
I don't think what? What did you say? What did you say? Period? Is that what you said?
I don't think.
Oh, period.
Yeah.
Oh, LOL.
Not thinks, the period panties.
LOL. This year was a strange journey for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Just, like we got COVID in May. I got it worse than you did
Mm-hmm.
based on our booster schedules.
Yes.
And that kind of messed me up
Yeah, man.
for like time wise.
Yeah.
Like things were going great for me in the year. I mean, like personally, I was just like trying to get like momentum going in my life, like projects, blah, 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 this, that, the other. And then that like, ugh. And then I don't know. No, I don't think this year flew by. No, I'm going to say no to that.
It felt, even though I know there were moments where things seemed interminable and time seemed to stand still, I still find myself saying, I can't believe the year's almost over. I can't believe it's December. I can't believe it's Christmas time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
But it depends on whether or not you feel it at the end of the year, because sometimes you do feel it at the end of the year. You feel like the whole year. And sometimes it just like you just lose all of it like I did.
Yeah, I've lost a lot. I've lost the plot.
Why do you say that?
Just in general, I mean, like I feel like, we had like these COVID lockdowns in 2020 when we started this podcast. And then there was the year where we all were allowed to get vaccinated. What are you looking at in a weird way?
Shadow at the window of the door.
Okay. Will you go lock the door? Because now you're freaking me out.
Yes, dear.
Thank you, please. Sorry. He looked at the door like someone was going to burst through it. And I didn't like that. That bothered me. No, don't see anyone. It could have just been like a passing car.
It could have been. They pass all the time.
Anyway, I was just about to explain why things are weird. Year of COVID. Year of vaccination.
The year of the COVID.
This is the first year since...
The year of the vax.
This is the first year of the pandemic we've all been collectively experiencing, that we had the full year of vaccinations available.
Yes, and life resuming some sort of normalcy.
And then it turned out like the vaccinations that we had were not like formulated for the strains that created or what. But yeah, so things like this is the first year of normalcy, and it was like, I don't know.
Didn't feel that normal.
Did not feel that normal.
We did get to do some things that we had missed doing.
Traveling,
going, lot. Seeing people going out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Doing shows again was a big deal for me. Mm-hmm. It's funny that at the beginning of the year, I remember having to cancel a show because COVID was kind of spiking.
Right. The Omicron.
And then in May I had to cancel a show because I got COVID.
Yeah. What show? That was a Varietopia.
Both Varietopias. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and if you're listening to this and you're in Los Angeles and it has not been December 18th, 2022 yet, you can catch the Christmas version of Varietopia at the Lodge Room in Highland Park on December 18th.
We're doing
tickets are still selling.
We're doing a holiday show, Lodge Room in Highland Park. Go to paulftompkins.com/live and you can get tickets there. And it's going to be a fun show.
So speaking of, we went back east you did Varietopia in New York.
Yes,
we went to New York.
Bell House. The beautiful Bell
I had to say, like, I spoke to a lot of Stay F Homekins fans at those shows. Mm-hmm. And it was delightful. Everyone was so lovely. And I just want to say that was a treat. Because everyone was there to see you, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, when we listen to Stay F Homekins," and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe like." And then so I got to interact, and that was really cool.
Yeah, and you told me that everybody was so sweet and nice.
Yes, they definitely were.
Lovely
and some fans got to sit with. There were some empty seats near me. Mm-hmm. It turned out
there's a little section that they block off for friends of performers and significant others and stuff like that. And on this particular show, I was the only one that had one, and it was Janie.
No, some other people had some.
Oh, okay.
Some other people showed up.
All right.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Some friends of the musicians and
But there
stuff.
was still room.
Yes. There were like, there just happened to be, yes. So then we did that, and then we went to Philadelphia for Thanksgiving. Hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving.
God, I hope so. I hope you did.
What were your highlights of the back east trip? We went to some museums.
Yeah, the shows. In addition to the shows being super fun, everybody. I think that almost all of them were sold out. Like it was a great turnout on a very cold weekend.
The early shows were a little bit more crowded than the late shows.
Both early shows were sold out.
Yeah, and
then the late shows were pretty packed. Oh, this is a passing car. I saw it again, and it was the same thing. So it's a passing car. But we got to go to a couple museums. We got to hang out with friends. We had a really wonderful time in New York. We budgeted a few extra days to hang out.
I ran into someone I hadn't seen in years.
That was wild.
Yeah, we were just sitting.
We're in the hotel bar.
Yeah. It was like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it was Clara Bell. She's a stand-up. And she walked by and she was like, "Janie, hello," and like pulled her mask down, and I was like, "Oh my god, like, how did she like spot me in this?" I mean, it was like crazy.
Honey, you're unmistakable.
And then what else? Like, then we went to Philly, and then we ran into people in Philly.
Yes.
The night we had dinner with my brother and sister-in-law.
That's right.
And there was like a table full of LA comedians next to us.
Yeah. That was really wild.
Yeah, you knew them. I didn't, but I knew Sharon.
You knew Sharon
Houston. And then we met
Amir Talai
and his wife, Nina, who's a television writer from Philly.
Yeah.
She was funny.
Yeah. They were great. It was like, it was wonderful and homey, and we had a nice Thanksgiving at your brother's house, and I got to see my family. I did not realize, because I had not checked in with them about what their Thanksgiving traditions are these days. So I thought we would all be getting together for Thanksgiving. And then it was like, no, everybody kind of does their own thing. Everybody has their own family and whatever.
Right.
But luckily we were able to have Thanksgiving with your brother and sister-in-law.
Yes.
Thank you, Alex and Laura. We had a wonderful time. Got to see, my friends Frank and Jane in Philly, which was nice.
Super fun.
It was a really lovely trip,
and their kids.
And here's the thing.
Yes.
Don't like going back east that time of year. It's not my favorite.
Yeah, it was freaking cold.
And I finally realized, like, oh, I'm in control of this. I don't have to do this.
Yeah, in New York, it was like in the 20s at night. Yeah. There was a freeze warning.
Yeah.
And I was like, Why did we do this?
I know. Well, next year, it's already planned out better. We're going to stay home for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Which we love to do.
Yes.
And
Definitely.
I'll be doing my New York shows in October as opposed to November.
I like it.
So
I like it.
Might even be hot.
I like it.
Who knows?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
But autumn in New York, this is the dream.
So this time last week, this is what I really want to talk about because it was a very exciting thing that I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
This time last week, we were in Las Vegas, baby.
Oh, here we go.
Las Wages. Sin City.
Lost weekly paycheck, Nevada.
It was like my birthday present from you to go see
Me, not the listeners. Just so you know. If you were thinking you chipped in, you didn't.
You're like, what do you want for your birthday? Because it was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I may as well say I finally turned 30. And it was rough, people. And since it was like a milestone birthday, you're like, what do you want? And I was like, I think we should go see Miranda Lambert in concert. You should go see the Miranda Lambert show in Vegas. And you're like, okay, pick a time. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And I was like, are we really going to do this? Because we're not really big concert people. We like live music.
No, we're not. Yeah.
Live
but
music.
we don't go to a ton of concerts. It's true.
No, but I like live music.
Yeah,
But I don't like the concert lifestyle.
There's a lot of baggage that goes with concerts.
Yeah, but this is like a residency show. So it's in a theater. It's not the same necessarily.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it was so fun and so good. And she was so awesome. The show, if you get a chance to see Velvet Rodeo residency in Vegas, can you recommend, you feel like you can
She
safely
put on a tremendous show.
Okay, it was like, so at the very beginning, she comes up from the stage, like on like
she comes up out of the stage,
out
on
of the stage,
on a riser, that's my dream.
I know. I knew. I looked over at you because like you have said that to me so many times.
I see it, I get so jealous.
Well, okay, so she opened with "Actin' Up," which is like the opening album on her brand new album. I think it's like nominated for a Grammy or something. But like, so it's a really good album, Palomino, and like it was the very first song on the album, and it has like these funny, like kind of eerie chords that play like kind of groovy, I should say.
Yeah.
Kind of
absolutely.
a groovy vibe.
Yeah.
And she comes up from the stage in like a glittery cowboy hat and stuff. And it was like people lost their minds. I think she came up with the glittery cowboy hat.
But then she took it off, right? I don't think she wore a hat through the concert.
No, I thought she did. Am I just imagining it from the video?
I think you're imagining it from the video.
No, I thought so. She came up out with the fringe and the.
I don't remember this hat.
All I know too is like the stage design is incredible because there's this like it changes like every second, and it's like a light show that goes along with it. And there's like a ton of pyrotechnics.
She had like a digital backdrop. She had a ton of stage lights. And like like sparks shooting up from the floor, and then there were a couple times huge fireballs.
And we were not like super close to the stage, and when the fireballs would like shoot out, we could feel the heat from them.
Yeah.
And it was like, what must it feel like on that stage?
Yeah.
Like when those happen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's only for a second, but you definitely feel it. Feel it.
And like her set was like so tight. Like she played like a bunch of old stuff and a lot of her new stuff, and it was like perfectly calibrated.
Let me ask you this, because I didn't really pay attention to the tickets and everything. Do they do more than one show a night, or is it just one show a night?
It's just one show a night.
Okay. Because it was the tightest show I've ever seen in terms of, we noted that she didn't introduce her band members individually. And then we were talking about, well, that must have been decided beforehand. And then when we started talking about that, I realized, there's no banter in between songs.
No, there's nothing.
There was no like, hey, this song is very special to me. I wrote this, blah, 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 blah. It was just like song.
She did a couple like tiny.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I liked when she was like, I'm going to do a love song that I wrote. I hope it's okay for all you ladies out there that I wrote to Tequila. And then she played Tequila Does. And then everyone like lost their mind.
Yeah.
But then but I think this show was so tight. And then in the middle of that, did you notice they did like a riff from Tequila? Like, did
I notice it? Yes, I noticed it.
Okay. It was like, but I feel like the pyrotechnics were so tight too. Like it was a choreographed show.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And like her backup singer was like at certain places at every minute of the show.
There was some choreography to it, not in the dancing sense, but in terms of where people were on
placement.
stage.
Like she'd come down, and then the one time the guitarist came.
Yeah.
When he was doing
It was extremely. I'd never seen a Vegas show, one of those big Vegas shows before, and I was really impressed and surprised by the tightness of it.
Oh my God. And it was, I mean, I was like, the tickets were not cheap, but they weren't crazy. Like they were like what you would expect.
It was affordable, yeah, for a special occasion. For a special, kind of
like,
thing.
Yeah, it was like a Broadway ticket or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is actually like, you're getting your money's worth with this show. I
thought that like that show was so tight that they were clearly, it's like, nobody's going to walk away from the show saying they didn't see a show.
No. In fact, and then that was like one of her banters was like, she was like thanking people that they spent their hard-earned money on tickets for the show.
Yeah.
And you kind of felt taken care of. Like you definitely felt like, okay, they want to like present.
Yeah. It was all killer, no filler.
It was all killer, no filler.
Yeah.
And then, okay, the only other part I have to say was when she did Gunpowder and Lead, and then she had on this jacket with fringe on the arms, and she stuck out her arms, and fireworks came out of the fringe, and she spun around the stage. I almost fainted.
It was
I swear to God, I almost fainted.
It was towards the end of the show.
Did you hear me squeal? I went, ah!
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I almost fainted.
No, we instantly looked at each other because it was like, it was such a reveal. It was wild. It was so good.
It was and like the build of she did a lot of like really like of her like just rocking like rock shit. Yeah. Like
it was a good
good
mixture of up tempo and ballads and everything. And I one thing that caught me by surprise was that I knew every song by osmosis.
I have to say that caught me by surprise as well.
There was not one song
wow,
that I had never heard before.
These? Like, how does he know these? It's like I knew. I was like, oh, I definitely like feel like we're like Keith and Nicole at the awards ceremonies. Knowing every line of the song.
Just if we haven't spoken about it before, and I'm sure we have, Janie and I, of course, watch all the country music award shows.
Keith and Nicole.
Keith and Nicole.
Oh, Keith.
Yeah, George Strait.
It
was amazing.
Oh my God, Miranda Lambert.
Miranda Lambert.
She rocks. She just rocks.
Chris
she really
Stapleton.
rocks. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm like losing my voice now.
But now, let's talk about the
weekend in general.
Well, no, let's talk about the concert stuff, like the concert logistics.
Oh,
because one of the reasons we're not big concert people is that we're not in our 20s anymore.
I don't like to be uncomfortable. That's really my.
I don't like to be uncomfortable. I don't like to stand for a show.
Right.
And it is in those theater type shows, you sort of think, well, not everybody's going to stand, right? Everybody's going to sit down. But no, people were standing through the whole thing.
Unfortunately, we're standing in front of us that were tall. But
yes.
we were able to adapt.
Tall and drunk.
I will say this. Oh my God, that girl was so drunk.
She was swaying. It was amazing. She made it through the whole show, though.
I will say this. I, for 5 seconds, I was bummed out about it. And then I was like, okay, we can just adapt. Like I can step to the aisle.
You immediately have to say, well, this is what happened.
This is how it is. But there was a section that was fully seated.
Yes.
And I was a little jealous of that section to our right. And I don't know what the difference was. I think it was just the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
I think it was just luck of the draw.
Those people didn't. One person got up in that section.
I don't mind getting up to dance a little bit.
On her phone.
Yeah. I think getting up to dance some is good.
Yeah.
But I don't think standing the whole freaking time is good.
No.
And that's what she was sort of into.
It is interesting. She kind of barely sat down. Like the young ladies next to us who were super fans.
Yeah, they were dressed like Miranda Lambert.
They would get. It was interesting to see what songs they would get up for and what songs they would not.
Yes,
get up
there were some that were you had to get up for.
Yeah.
Like you had to get up for Gunpowder and Lead.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like
the ballads people mostly sat down for.
Some people did stand up for the what's the name of the house where she goes to visit her old house?
Oh, the house that built me.
The house that built me.
Yeah.
I feel like some people stood for that in like a way where they wanted to hold up their iPhone flashlight.
Right.
That kind of.
Yeah.
And that was like the tearjerker song.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
That and like the carousel song or. Anyway, I feel like we're going through like the whole set. It's such a good concert. And she did do the I'm Drunk and I Want to Go Home, which you sang at Varietopia
with
Caitlin Tarver.
Yeah.
Because this is a duet she does with Elle King, but she just did it with her backup singer who was really good.
Yeah. It was great.
Okay, that was fun. But like Vegas in general, I feel like we have to like discuss a couple of details of the weekend.
Let's do it.
Okay, first of all. Okay, let me set the stage.
Okay.
Let me set the stage. First of all, what we didn't know was this particular weekend a week ago was like a crazy crowded weekend in Vegas because there were like all of these cowboy events. There was like a rodeo like playoffs.
I mean, sure. The rodeo playoffs were happening.
And then I had like this fantasy that we were gonna like run into Taylor Sheridan. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like what if we see Taylor Sheridan in Vegas? Like I'm so gonna talk to him. Like because I feel like Taylor Sheridan is living my fantasy life. Like he's an actor, then he like sold a show, and now like he has like 10 shows on TV.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, that's like my fantasy. Like I want to be like an actor that no one pays attention to, and then get to run like my own like empire of corner of Hollywood or something. But you know, and I guess like he's into like roping or whatever. You know, I was like, I thought we were gonna see him, but we didn't see him. Okay, the second thing was, there was a college football event going on.
Yes.
And the place was crawling.
Yes.
With like USC fans, and I mean Southern California, not South Carolina.
Yeah.
They were the Trojans. They were there and they were playing like Utah, and the game was like that night. So our flight was freaking full to Vegas. And okay, so this thing happened. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like I'm just going to go like into every detail, and you're just going to have to tell me to get up.
Let me start, and then we can take it over at the points in which we enter the story. Does that make sense?
Okay.
In like chronological order of the experience. So here's what happens. We get the Southwest notification. Hey, your flight's tomorrow. Check in. We check it. We're on separate reservations for some reason. And so because of points. And so I go to check in. Janie's somewhere else. And I go to check in. I'm like a minute late, and I'm in Group B. Then it's telling me, hey, if you want, you can spend $30 and get in Group A. And I was like, I'm going to do that because maybe we'll need to do that because Janie will probably be in Group B. So this way, if one of us gets on the plane early, we can facilitate the other if need be.
Because there's no assigned seating on Southwest in case you don't know Southwest. Like your group is everything. That's how
your group is everything.
Although I have a theory about that.
Yes, and we'll get into that. That'll be a good postscript to the story. Okay. So I get on the plane. I put my we do aisle to aisle seating, which I don't know why more couples don't do this. It's the best. It's the best.
Don't encourage aisle to aisle.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Look, if you want to sit,
it's our thing. I'm just saying, like, I don't want
together
to fight more people
with
for
one
aisle
person
to
in
aisle.
the middle and one stranger. Then go ahead.
So a lot of people have a kid though, and they stick their kid.
Well, of course. Okay. So put my bag on the seat across the aisle from me, which technically you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, we were breaking the rules, bitches.
Yeah, because we look out for each other. So by the time Janie gets on the plane, because she's in the end of the B group.
I'm in the second B group.
Second B group? Okay.
I'm in like middle second.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of overhead space left where we are.
Because you picked in like the first 3 or 4 rows of the plane.
Yes, because the way things were shaping up, that looked like the best option.
Okay.
And so when Janie gets on the plane, she has her suitcase, new suitcase that she's trying out. This is the maiden voyage of this suitcase.
That's right.
Slightly bigger carry-on than your previous carry-on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is its maiden voyage. So I go to put it in the overhead above me, and there's a bag in there that's turned sideways.
A wheelie bag.
A wheelie bag.
A wheelie bag that's turned sideways.
This is your classic carry-on luggage. Why is it turned sideways? That's weird. So I go...
And I asked you. Now this is me entering the story.
Welcome.
I come on and I look over him, and the wheelie bag's to the side. And Paul's like, "Oh, do you need a hand?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, do you mind seeing, pivoting that person's wheelie bag from horizontal to vertical?
Yeah. Do you mind turning it the correct way
so that I might have a slot to put my wheelie bag in vertical next to it?
Which you most assuredly would.
So he starts trying.
And then I hear a voice.
My God. God.
I hear a voice say, "It doesn't fit that way. Put it back." And I turn and look behind me. This guy in a USC hat. And he sees me see him, and he says again, "It doesn't fit that way. Put it back." And so I say, "Okay, man. Okay. All right, we're just trying to see."
And he's to my left, and his wife, he's at the window seat. His wife is in the middle seat. They're like in their 60s. Mm-hmm. And he's like a gray-haired dude.
They're probably like 2 years older than us.
I don't know, man. I don't know. And he's like talking to his wife, and he's like, "What is he doing? Why is he doing that?"
What? Like, what could the mystery be, sir?
Why is he doing that?
Why is he doing that?
And then I look over at him and I say, "I asked him to do that because I am looking for a space for my bag. I'm terribly sorry. We're not going to hurt it."
So then Janie then has to do the thing of going behind our seats to find a space for the bag, gets the bag in there, sits down. Somebody else gets on the plane, goes through the same fucking thing. They try to turn that bag around. Yes. And the guy again, "It doesn't fit that way. Put it back."
And then I heard it because I'm in the row right behind him now. Yeah. I'm aisle behind them. And he goes to his wife, "I wish they would just close the bin. Like just close it." And the couple next to me, there's a couple in middle and window next to me.
And they were lovely.
They were like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just can't." I don't know why I started confiding in them or whatever. I was like, I just can't shake that guy. I don't like, and they were like, "Oh, something happened with him before you even got on the plane. Don't even, worry about it." But then I spent the entire 35-minute flight to Vegas, imagining a script in my head of to say to this guy, he got under my, the thing took me by surprise, I think.
Yeah, he really did get you.
He got me because he was just being such a piece of shit about his attitude. And also
you know what it is too?
How is he so stupid that he doesn't know what you're doing?
I know. It's also, is he just pretending? Because what he's doing, the thing that's so shitty about what he's doing is, this is a very communal experience. And we're all trying to figure out the best way to get just get our shit squared away and go there. Everybody's in the same boat. So if somebody's touching the bag and turning it around,
what do you think he's doing?
If you know it doesn't fit, you could be nice about it. You don't have to be a jerk about it.
By the way, I'm not 100% convinced it didn't fit because I wanted to try it
I know.
wheels back.
Yes.
Because the wheel, I just was.
We tried it wheels out, which is supposed to be.
And then
the
he
fix.
started freaking melting down. Yeah. And then, so I'm like having this experience on the flight where I'm just trying to listen to this podcast and like not be like, there's wheelie bags that fit vertically that, maybe you want to try listening to a podcast and get a promo code to try one out or. I don't know. Like, I was like, I don't know.
You're
like
listening to a podcast or an ad is like, tired of this. It doesn't fit that way. Put it back. Try away bags.
And then there's a guy next to, also there was like a George Strait concert over the weekend. So there's like a bunch of people going to see George Strait, a bunch of people going to rope cows, and a bunch of people going to a football game.
Many cowboy hats in Las Vegas. Never seen that many cowboy hats in my life. But, okay. So
the guy next to you, by the way, he reminded me of my granddad who's like passed away.
Yeah.
He was loaded.
Yeah.
And he was like, so then we land and he gets up and he's like, hey, I got to get past you to you because my bag is behind us. And so I followed him because I was like, I'm going to follow this guy.
Let him be the cow catcher.
This guy is like, he's totally like aggressive. And I'm like, I need to be him or just be behind him or whatever. And I was like, I'm going to follow you because my bag's back there too. And then
you dropped your handkerchief.
And then he grabbed he's like, which one's yours, little lady or whatever? And I was like, is that one over there? And he's like, here. And he fake throws it at me. Like,
I thought that was bold.
We were just having fun.
I know.
So now I'm back.
What? To fake throw a suitcase in somebody's face.
And he's much taller than me. Okay. And so I'm a few rows back now. So now I'm back behind. I can see you to my left and the jammed up couple to my right.
Yeah.
And can I just tell you what I witnessed, or do you want to get it?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
get the wording right, though.
So I'm standing back. A couple rows now. Everyone's like trying to line up, get out, get their stuff. And the wife
of Put It Back
goes to you because you're under the.
I hear somebody say, excuse me. And I turn around and it's her.
And she said, do you mind handing the.
Would you mind handing me my bag? It's that one right there.
And then I just hear Paul and he's doing like, just goes into like this bit and it's like loud because I'm a couple rows back now.
Oh, it was loud.
And you go, this bag right here? This bag? Oh, is this yours? Oh, yes. Why, of course I would absolutely be. Here you go.
This one? Oh, sure. Let me get that for you.
And everyone's
and people were laughing.
I started laughing so hard that like
it really got you.
Like
good.
Tears were running down my face, like silently. Like everyone was less like. This is like a lot. This was a pretty giddy, drunk flight anyway. Also, because when we landed, they played the USC fight
by the
song.
way, we were neither giddy nor drunk.
And the Southwest people played the USC fight song.
Yeah.
So there was like, and I was like so pissed at this guy. In my mind, I didn't say anything to him. The only thing I said to the man was,
Cuckoo, hi, you're just in time for the end of the story.
The only thing I said to the man was, I asked him to do that.
Yeah.
And we're not going to hurt it.
Yeah.
We're not going to hurt your suit. That's all I said to him. And then we left and then we went and had, whatever, we go to dinner that night, whatever, having drinks at the hotel. And I said, I fucking hope his team loses. That's how mad I am. Like I was mad.
This affected.
I fucking hope.
Janie thought about this all day. This guy haunted her.
I guess like, being from the South, like a polite, which by the way, not so polite back in Charleston anymore. I mean, like the gloves have come off America for the last 7 years now, if you know what I mean. So, but the way I was raised, you would never, ever speak to like a stranger in that way. You just wouldn't.
Yeah, there's
like,
no need.
Like so I have been like just affronted. Like my manners have been affronted.
And let me say
like,
also, I understand because I've had situations like that where it's like I can't stop thinking about the interaction, and the person
energy,
and everything. But for whatever reason, this guy, it made me laugh how pathetic he sounded.
I know, and
he
then
sounded
you
like
made
such
me
a
laugh.
little baby.
And then you were like,
"Put it back,"
and you're like, "This bag? Oh, pardon me." Why, yes, of course. It was almost like your subtext was like, "Your Majesty" or whatever.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, like whatever. And I was like, I fucking hope his team loses. Like, I was just like, that's how mad I was.
Yeah.
And we were sitting at the bar. And you know how you get like little dings on your phone, like CNN breaking news, and it was like Trojans like annihilated or whatever.
They were
like
destroyed.
Annihilated. They were like destroyed. And I was like, oh my God, I fucking did this.
You did it.
But I was like, he did it really.
Yeah.
He kind of did it.
He brought it on himself.
He did it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, like, should I, and then we went to the craps table and I won money. Like I played craps and won a bunch of money. And I was like, okay, I guess like it turned it around. I turned it around or whatever. But I was like, wow, that was just, but here's the icing on the cake.
Yes. So we're flying back after a wonderful weekend.
Sunday.
Waiting at the airport. Our flight is delayed. Full flight. Who comes strolling up to the fucking desk? But Mr. and Mrs. put it back. We're like, oh my God.
And they still had the fucking rolly bag. They had the same fucking rolly
bag.
The same fucking rolly bag.
That didn't fit. And now,
and they were asking for volunteers to check their bags.
Yeah. They only had one bag, which is like, okay, so for the weekend, did they share a suitcase?
Or did they check a big thing and that was their carry-on?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they were asking for volunteers to check a bag. They did not. We got on the flight.
And I was like, I hope
they were on our flight. They did not check that. We saw it fucking sideways again.
Yeah.
Then we go to our seats.
We walked by them. And I was determined like not to make eye contact with them at all. I was like, pretend they don't exist. Pretend they don't exist. I was like, that's going to be our move.
Yeah.
And then we walked by because we were in group B. And we walked by them.
Now, this is a perfect time to share your theory about the groups.
Personally, I believe Group B 1 through 30 is the superior group. I would not pay to B and A.
Okay.
The reason I say this is because there's still plenty of seat choices available in B. Mm-hmm. Group A, they line up like before they even start boarding the plane, and then you're just like standing there waiting.
Yeah.
But if you're in Group B 1 through 30, you get to sit until they finish the A's.
Yeah.
Then you get to line up early in the B's, and you still have the pick of the plane.
True.
I'm just saying that's my situation.
My only counter to that is I like to see that empty plane. One time I was A1. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my God.
And a natural A1. Like I just checked in and I got
you do?
A1. Well, obviously I threw a party on the plane. I invited all my friends.
Oh my God.
But I like it because it is empty. You have absolutely your pick of seats and everything. It's much easier traveling alone. You don't have to worry about, are we going to be together, whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, I want to get on that plane as quickly as possible and have that part be over with.
I got
Also,
I don't like to get on as quickly as possible.
I don't stand in the line the whole time.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's like people line up way too early.
They give you the place to stand.
I know they do.
They tell you.
But it's way too early. So since they do give you the place to stand, it's like when they call Group A, I will go get in the line. Okay. And say I'm A15 or whatever.
Okay.
And there's nothing they can do about it.
All right. We just have a little differing of opinion. But
Exactly.
when we got on the plane, we walked by the bag, overhead, sideways.
But now here is the M. Night Shyamalan twist. We go to put your new suitcase up there.
And it didn't close.
Fit.
It was a different plane.
It was a different plane. So we tried it wheels in, wheels out. And then eventually the flight attendant
turned it sideways. Which I was like, Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to keep that bag or not.
Mm-hmm.
I have 100 days to test it out. My carry-on that I own was a freebie.
Yeah.
Because it was because you guys advertised for Away on
That's right.
Freedom.
But here's the thing. I would say.
And you gave me that bag. And then I was like, I love Away. And then yeah.
I would say send that bag back.
The purple one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you know that your original carry-on
that
fits.
definitely fits in smaller planes.
And then they have a size up that you could get. That's a checked bag. So if you need to check a bag, you have that bag that's better than the old suitcase that you have.
That old
the fabric
beat up
suitcase.
Oh yeah, that thing.
That
thing was a cheapo anyway from 1,000 years.
Served you well, but it's time.
I don't know what to do. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well, look,
either take the carry-on.
We don't need to involve the listeners in this.
Yeah, and then what else? You didn't play craps, but you did stand with me while I played craps, and I was surprised about that because that's the first time you've kind of done that.
No, because I love you.
I know, but sometimes I go and play craps, and you're like, I'll go in the room or whatever.
Well, yeah, because usually if we're seeing your dad or something like that.
Yeah, because me and my dad play.
Yeah.
But
They're a
then
gambling family.
that was a fun table, right?
It was.
And
fun.
the guy next to me was hilarious.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, what are you doing with that? Tell me what you're doing over here. And he would tell me he had so many freaking chips. He had so many $100 chips.
$100 chips sitting there. He's like, this is what I do. I come here.
Thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I love to gamble.
Literally
all
took
night.
out $200 from an ATM. And once I won $200, I put that away. And then I only gambled with my winnings.
Yeah.
And then I still walked away with over $400.
Nice. It's a great story. All right. We got to take a break and we'll be back after these ads. Hey, everybody. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Okay. Therapy. Have you heard of it? Therapy. Call on me. Man, the Valeries of the world must have been so excited when Steve Winwood wrote that song. Anyway, back to therapy. Here's the thing, and I'm sure you know this already. Life can be overwhelming, and many of us are burned out without even knowing it. Maybe you have a lack of motivation. Maybe you feel helpless or trapped. Maybe you feel detachment, fatigue, etc. Girlfriend, I've been there. And sometimes you just feel like, man, I'm sinking and I don't know. I'm so tired of treading water. How do I get out of this thing that I'm in? Well, there's an answer. It's therapy. Therapy is so good, guys. It's so good. Changed my life. I'm so glad I did it. And I'm so glad that there's an opportunity for other people to do it as well. Because we associate burnout with work, but that is not the only cause. Any of our roles in life can lead us to feel burned out. And BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. You got to put your own oxygen mask on first. Talking with someone can help you figure out what's causing stress in your life. And that's really what it is. It's like getting to the root of, why do I have these feelings? Why does this bother me? Why does this make me feel hopeless? And you figure it out, and then you can deal with it. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. I don't know what I was going to say there instead of hours, but thank God I made it to hours. Stay F Homekins listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Homekins. That's BetterHelp.com/Homekins. Check out BetterHelp. I think it can help you, and I wish you all the love and luck in the world.
Oh my God, y'all. We are so excited to be sponsored once again by Green Chef. It is a CCOF certified meal kit company. Green Chef makes eating well easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, veg, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. Green Chef offers a range of recipes to suit your preferences. So the Green Market is now live. It is a one-stop shop for quick breakfasts, lunches, and more you can easily add on to your weekly order. They have expanded expanded their menu. You can now choose from 30 recipes weekly with the option to mix and match meals from different dietary prefs in the same box without changing your plan. And if you're craving more servings of a favorite recipe, you can now double the portions in your weekly order with just one click. I personally love Green Chef because it takes the meal planning emotional labor out of things for you. You just get everything portioned out and it tells you exactly how to cook things, and you get to kind of zone out and listen to your favorite music or favorite podcast. I absolutely love Green Chef, and I am so humbled and honored that they are one of our sponsors and that they are offering our listeners a special offer.
They're not offing anyone, just to make that clear.
So please go to greenchef.com/homekins599 and use homekins599 to get $5.99 per meal on your first box, and your first box also ships free. So go to greenchef.com/homekins599 and use code HOMEKINS599 to get $5.99 per meal on your first box, and your first box ships free. Thank you, Green Chef.
Thank you, Green Chef.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to turn your food scraps into dirt?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh my gosh. I am so excited about our next new sponsor.
Tell me more.
Okay. There is this amazing appliance called Lomi by Pila. First of all, what an awesome Christmas gift. I know that we have the holiday seasons coming up. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of, I have a lot of friends who are into composting, and I don't totally get it or understand it. I just know like it's good or whatever, but like I'm not into worms. And so that's just not going to happen. But guess what? There's this amazing new appliance called Lomi that turns your food scraps into dirt. And that dirt is like really nutrient rich, and it's great for gardens or plants. And the most amazing part is it's great for the environment. So I got the Lomi. It's so exciting. I took it over to my friend Catherine's house because she is like the gardener person, and she is obsessed with Lomi and has like been following Lomi's entire journey since Kickstarter. And she made me all this amazing dirt, and now my plants are thriving. So you basically put your food in the Lomi. It sits on your counter. It looks really sleek and really modern. And then with a push of a button, it will turn your scraps into dirt in under 4 hours. Although there's like a couple different levels or whatever. There's no smell, and it's really quiet. So thanks to Lomi, you have way less garbage every week. Okay. And you get to be eco-conscious. Since Lomi's come into our lives, I throw out way less garbage. That means it's not going to landfills and producing methane. Instead, you can turn your waste into nutrient-rich dirt that you can feed to plants. And also, you get to be smug to other people and say you're doing your part for climate change. So if you want to start making a positive environmental impact, or just make cleanup after dinner, of like our after dinner podcast, that much easier, Lomi is perfect for you. Go to lomi.com/homekins. Lomi is LOMI. Lomi.com/homekins and use the promo code HOMEKINS to get $50 off your Lomi. When I tell you that this is a great Christmas gift, I think people's minds will be blown, and you just got to go to the website and check this thing out, because I really do believe it is the future, and we should be doing everything that we can to reduce our footprint. That's $50 off when you head to lomi.com/homekins. Use promo code HOMEKINS at checkout. Food waste is gross. Lomi's your solution. With the holidays just around the corner, Lomi will make the perfect gift for someone on your shopping list. Thank you, Lomi.
Thank you, Lomi.
Thank you, Lomi. We love you.
Love you, Lomi.
We're back, guys. What a delightful little conversation we're having on tonight's Stay of Homekins.
I know, it's nice and delightful.
I hope everyone's doing well. It's a crazy time with travel and the holidays, and you get really stressed. And we are keeping things going in 2023. Is that right, Paul?
Yes, we are.
Still going to do the once a month schedule. I haven't looked at the calendar, but it's looking like second Fridays of every month is like sweet spot.
I think so.
If anyone has any other ideas on how we can manage our lives better than we're managing them, I would appreciate it. To be honest,
we're throwing it out to strangers. If you want to tell us how to live our lives.
To be honest, because things are really tiring, is all I got to say. Things are really tiring.
This is a tough time of year, as well as like we enjoy this time of year, but it is stressful in some ways. I know for some people it's a sad time of year. Some people don't like this time of year, and I get that a little bit. Like when we went back east, I realized like, oh, I've never, even since I was a kid, when I lived there, I always got kind of bummed out in the winter. And I don't know if that's, seasonal affective disorder or what, but it just was like, just when everything's like kind of the ground is frozen and it's cold and it's gloomy and, so my heart goes out to anyone who's having a tough time right now. We're with you and hang in there. But let me say something that was really nice, which was last night. Was this last night? No, night before. Last night? Night before.
Night before.
Night before. We have a relatively new tradition. We've done it a few years now, which is there's a group of us, 5 couples, that all went on vacation together years ago.
2017.
And we all knew each other before, but we never hung out together as a group before. And we've stayed in touch via a thriving text thread. And we started doing a yearly dinner at the Tam O'Shanter at Christmas time, which is a restaurant here. It's one of the oldest restaurants in Los Angeles, just celebrated its 100th anniversary.
It was Walt Disney's favorite restaurant.
Yes. And it was a lot of the Disney animators would hang out there.
Basically it's like
bombed.
a Lowry's.
Yes. It's a Lowry's property. It's Scottish themed.
Hence the Tam O'Shanter.
Hence the Tam O'Shanter by the name of the poem by Robert Burns.
And they have carolers. I'm sure we've mentioned the Tam O'Shanter on this.
I'm sure we have, yeah. But they have strolling carolers every year at Christmas time. They decorate the place to the hilt.
They're just Dickensian.
It's very festive and cozy in there. It's really fun. So this was the first year that all 10 of us were able to make it at the same time.
And we didn't do 2020 because of COVID. And
you can't blame us for that.
Well,
you can't blame us for that.
Instead, though, is we did that drive-through of the Magic Mountain.
We did a drive-through of Magic Mountain, which was going to have a sort of Christmas lights, spectacular. And
we talked about that back in the time, but whatever. So
Scott, it's funny because Scott last night or the other night was like, "But you're glad that we did it, right?" It's like, yes, of course, I'm glad that we did it.
Yeah, I was glad.
Yeah, it was terrible, but I'm glad that we did it.
No, I liked all this. I liked all of the activities that we did during lockdown to try to stay sane.
Yes,
like people got creative.
Absolutely,
I enjoyed that. Seeing how the creative ways people tried to keep things going.
I liked that too, and there was an element of that of like we're all in this together kind of thing.
Yes.
Of like, hey, we're still. What else can we do? We got to do something.
Yes.
and let's all try to make the best of this. So last night was the first time. Oh, first, as soon as we get there, some people were ahead of us. They were in the bar. We go in the bar, run into 3 people that I know from UCB.
Yes, I
sitting
also
at a table.
know them a little.
We ran into them the same time last year when we were having the same dinner.
Yeah, it was the same group running into the same group.
Yes.
That was funny.
Not the same exact night. It's not like we plan. It's like this day every year.
No, it was just a random Wednesday.
It was so wild that the same thing happened. We were all flabbergasted by it. What a wonderful coincidence.
But then we ran into someone else that was the same night as last year. Tony Thaxton.
Tony Thaxton, that's right. Shout out to Tony.
Yeah.
It was wild. What a night of coincidences. But it's, so
we had this big dinner and and then you get to request the carols.
Yes, they come over to your table, you get to request a song. This was the first time that Mike and Lauren were able to not only attend this dinner, but it was their first time at the Tam O'Shanter. And so the carolers came over. Our friend Jessica Jardin, the only Scottish person in the group, she every year requests All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey.
Yes. Every time I've been, I've had to sit through All I Want for Christmas.
Yeah.
Also, but by the way, when they carol "All I Want for Christmas" in their Dickensian garb, it doesn't quite match.
You're like, is this Westworld?
Like,
what's going on?
And then the girl was like going nuts. I mean, she was like,
it's always 2 men and 2 women.
Like, for Christmas is you.
But so here's what was wild.
And
She
was
was
like,
the lead singer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But then when it came time for the big high note, the other lady did it. It was a surprise.
And they were like kind of like bopping out in the Dickensian garb. It was not exactly.
You know
I'm
that
just
they
saying.
I give it a pass because you know that they love doing a song
They
that
want
is
to do
not
modern
1,000
songs.
years old.
Yes.
But the best part of it was they were right behind where our friend Mike was. Mike, even though he was facing away
Mike
from them,
Castle was like.
Mike Castle, like averted eyes, slight smile on his face, like, I hate this and I wish this was over.
And it was happening on him.
And in picture, I had
Like,
to take a picture
literally.
of him looking miserable. While
Like
this
he
was
was in the
happening.
wrong place for this.
And then when you
He
look
was
at
in
the
the wrong
picture,
place.
it looks like they are singing to him. They're all their eyes are accidentally trained on the back of his head.
And you've been like listening to Mike Castle's podcast from the beginning.
Which I recommended last episode, I believe.
I think you did.
I think you know what I would do, and I've been listening to them at night after Janie goes to bed, and I play my little video games. And I have the podcast playing while I listen, and it's really been enjoyable.
Yes, we do have like our separate things that we do sometimes.
You have no right to ask me how I feel.
Okay.
That song is intense. When you think, it's an intense song.
Yeah, I guess
you
it
have
is.
no right to ask me how I feel
Yes.
now that we're living separate lives.
Oh yeah, they're like kind
Yeah.
of bitter. They're kind of like,
Yeah. It's over.
yeah, agreed.
And it's like, how are you? Fuck you, how am I? Who do you think you are?
It's pretty good.
You
though.
broke my heart and now you're asking me how I am? I'm bad.
I respect good songwriting.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying. Okay, so I kind of am curious about something, and you don't know I'm going to ask about this.
This is exciting.
So
Uh-oh.
this is going to be divisive.
Oh no, it's getting scary now. Do you think Osama bin Laden had good qualities?
Oh, but no, that does remind me of something though that I couldn't stop thinking about.
Okay.
For like last weekend and this week.
Put it
Okay.
back?
No, the put it back guy?
Yeah, he reminded you of Osama bin Laden.
No, he was definitely too white to be.
He wishes he was Osama bin Laden.
No, he was like, okay, this is what I don't
white.
understand. This is what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Something that I'm curious about.
Mhm.
So like, okay, like Miranda Lambert,
Sure.
she's like so fun and talented and great songwriter. Her collaborations and songwriting is so fun and everything. And there's like a very strong feminism in her body of work.
Mm-hmm.
And like there were a lot of dudes at that concert.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I was surprised.
Yeah,
Most of them were with women though.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. There were groups of women and then couples. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And then, okay, like if you're an incel, like how do you, like, if you're an incel and you're like, you're going to the grocery store or something and on the speakers, like they start playing like, you know, Bluebird or whatever. And you're like, oh, this is like a great jam. You know, like you're like, oh, it's a good song. It's a really good song. But it's a woman. It's a woman who's like, I'm fucking independent and I don't, you know, like this is my own thing. How do you navigate the world if you're an incel? Because like if you hate women, like does that mean like you just write off like half of all of art?
I mean, I would imagine, yes.
Like there's not one of them that's like, oh, Christine McVie died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's not one of them that's like, oh my God, like I love like Rhiannon or whatever. You know, like I love that. Like there's just not one of them that's like, okay, like I gotta give it up for, you know.
I mean, probably not, right? I mean, it stands to reason. If your thing is, I'm miserable and it's women's fault, like chances are you're not going to give it up for, Sinead O'Connor or something. You're not going to say, I can't help it, this song rocks,
Really?
Probably. I mean, these guys have made their whole lives revolve around blaming somebody else for their problems.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to give an inch, There might be an outlier incel. Who's like, Beyonce is my queen.
Right? Like Formation. Come on.
Lemonade was healing. It was cathartic.
I'm just curious because like the incel thing is just it's so like, it's painful because they're suffering. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's like,
they're suffering.
They are suffering and they're being taken advantage of by somebody who plants the idea. Everyone wants to hear it's not your fault. It's somebody else's fault.
Right.
If things are bad, the last thing you want to hear is, here's what you need to do. What you want to hear is, it's their problem. They are making this problem for you. And it's like, if you are vulnerable, it's very easy to be taken advantage of by that message.
All right. Okay. That was the one thing. Here's the thing that you don't know what I'm going to bring up that might be divisive.
Oh, that wasn't the thing?
No. That was just something I wondered. That was just something.
You thought it'd be divisive because of our many incel listeners.
No, I didn't think that was going to be divisive. That was literally just a question
I'm
I have.
joking.
Oh.
Jesus.
So
no wonder I'm an incel.
Okay. Without you, I watched the Harry and Meghan documentary.
Oh, that's fine.
And I don't understand like people attacking them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't.
Who is attacking them? Are people? Is it British people that don't like her?
Yes.
Yeah. And they don't like that. They blame her for leading him away from the family and causing a fracture in the family.
No, because they hated her before he left.
Right. Well, yes.
They hated her before.
Yeah. And now they feel justified because he's been ripped from the womb of the royal family.
So, okay, like this. So I'm only like 3 episodes in because that's all.
Ripped from the bosom, I should say. Not the
There's only like 3 out. There's only 3 out. Mm-hmm. But like so from what I understand, and I feel like this is the thing I saw before this documentary, and this confirms it to me though, is that like it's racism. It's racism.
Yeah.
But also like they kind of turned on Harry, I think, because he didn't want to be in this from the beginning. Yeah. Like even before Meghan, it was clear like he was like uncomfortable with it all.
Yeah.
And the one thing that's what I don't understand is like, how can you blame him when his mother was killed by this?
Yeah.
Like paparazzi stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they're spoiled and, they're complaining about the paparazzi. And I'm like, but what you don't take into account is that his mother was killed by it. Like I just don't understand the hate. I just don't understand the hate because I'm just curious, I also the royal thing is so weird anyway. So I don't want to spend too much of my time even thinking about it.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like he wanted to leave and I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah.
I really don't.
What's really amazing
Sorry, I just don't.
When you think about it, what's amazing is he was born into this weird life. He had no people that marry into that family, you can argue their level of choice that they had or whatever.
Right.
And then it turns out to be more than they bargained for. But he literally was born into it. And then the fact that he made a conscious choice that I don't care about tradition. I don't care about all this shit. I don't care about it. I'm leaving,
And he has a book that's going to be coming out, which I think is going to be kind of huge because it's going to be his words.
They're only going to tell their story 14 more times.
I almost feel and that is another thing. They said they wanted privacy, and now and now they're shoving this documentary down our throat. And I'm like, really? I haven't
down our throats.
literally, I hadn't looked at Netflix in weeks. I was like, Seriously?
Very easy to avoid.
Okay, like whatever. I don't know, just like people go crazy over it, and I think it's funny they're so like angry about that, but then like someone goes on Netflix and starts like spewing transphobic shit, and they're like, we need this.
Freedom of speech.
We need to have this.
Yeah.
And then it's like they come on and they're like, oh my God, this is our meet cute. And they're like, fuck them.
Yeah.
You know, like they're, you know, it's just like so weird to me.
I would say that for me, my way of thinking is if you're heavily invested in the monarchy in the first place, you probably have racist reasons for being unhappy about this.
I guess
you know what I mean? It's so but it
doesn't even like touch anything because he wasn't in line.
No, it doesn't. I know.
I mean, he's like so far removed.
But the thing is, it's like it's the fairy tale of it all. You know what I mean? It's the tradition. It's the you know, divine right and all that shit. That I think I don't know how many people are still invested in that aspect of it. Of like, she is our sovereign. He is our sovereign. You know, Charles III and blah blah blah. The unbroken line and you know, all that shit. And so it's just the idea of what they want the royal family to be. And it's like, well, it's the 21st century. Like, what do you expect?
I feel like it's gotta be so confusing to them because like there's a big,
to who?
Like royals in general, because like there's this whole movement of like, oh, they're going to usher in this fresh, this new generation is going to like bring like a freshness to it. And then there's like this pushback from within that's like, it can't be that. But it's like people want it to sort of fit more modern thing or whatever. And
they want to have it both ways. And it's like, guess what?
They want to have it both ways.
If you want to have a modern monarchy, you're nuts. Like, it's ridiculous.
That's like an oxymoron.
It's such an ancient institution. The idea of having a king or a queen is and look, it's easy for us to say this because we grew up in America.
Well, what is so funny?
It looks absurd.
What is so funny to me is like in the documentary, and it like the documentary is like tame. Like it was like some of it is like, okay, like you went to this school and you drew on this piece of paper. Like, I don't care about that. Like,
did they ever talk about him in the Nazi costume?
Yes.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yes, because he's basically like, what he's trying to show is his evolution from being in this insular world to essentially trying to become an like anti-racist.
Right.
Like he's like, I thought I knew things. He's like, I'd been to every country practically on the globe and seen all these different ways. I served in the military for 10 years and I thought I knew things and I freaking didn't. And, you know, and like he discusses the Nazi thing as like one of the lowest points of his life. And afterwards, like, I guess he spoke with like a rabbi and a Holocaust survivor and like really learned why what he did was upsetting and everything. And, you know, like he's clearly this self-aware person. If you're a self-aware person, I don't think you're suited for that job because if you are in any way introspective and interested in evolving to your human potential, then, like you need to be thriving in a lifestyle that allows for that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but like, you know, I don't know. They could step back in. Maybe they would allow him back in. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Who fucking knows?
It's not my place. It's their fucking lives. I just feel like, you know, yes, they're rich celebrities and they're like attractive and it's like boo hoo. I get that. Yeah. But so is all like every reality show people watch.
I know.
Like on repeat. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, what's the difference? At least they're doing some charity work.
There is, exactly. And I think there is some similarity, of course, to royal watching and reality TV, where it's like there's these weird cartoon people that you're kind of following and you are delighting in their victories and their failures and whatever. I guess that's what people get out of it.
Well, the thing that made me laugh, I mean, like there was a moment in the reality show where because they have like some like royal experts, I guess, to like help American audiences understand, you know, and really the thing is not so much about being a royal, it's about the media. Yeah, because their whole thing is like the media did this, right? Like you're mad at the wrong thing, essentially, and I'm sure that's true. Yeah. And of course they think that his his mother was murdered by the media. Like, okay, fine. So like, there's like a royal guy who's like expert that's like, the royals have always enjoyed like an 80% approval rating. No politician has ever. It's the envy of all politicians. And I'm like, yeah, because they're mannequins. They don't do anything.
Exactly.
When someone doesn't do anything, they're a cipher and you're just projecting.
Yeah.
That's why they want to, I think that's the whole mystique is that they stay like, so you just project whatever onto them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but if you're born into it and you didn't sign up for it, I think it sucks. Yeah. If you don't want it.
They're mascots for the country. And, you know, it's like, do you want to get rid of the mascot? It's like, no, I like them.
And some of them willingly sign up for it. It doesn't look like William and Kate are unhappy with it.
No. And I'm sure that was, I mean, who knows what their private lives are like, but it certainly looks like they made sure they weren't going to have, or they tried to make sure they weren't going to have a situation like that again, you know, with Charles and Diana, you know.
I just think
it's like, stranger to me that William is on board with all of this after also losing his mother to this dumb institution, essentially, you know, that bred fame. And
I think it's different when you're in line for the throne.
I guess, but
that's a different attitude. Then you're like, okay, that's the price of it, or
I want
whatever.
to look up what would have happened if he had said, I don't want any part of this.
Wouldn't it have gone to Harry?
I guess
that's what happened.
But if they both did, if they both said, we don't want to do this.
Well, then what about Eugenie and Beatrix?
Who are they again?
They're cousins or whatever. Prince Andrew's
sure
daughters.
I guess.
I mean, it would have gone to Harry because remember the one king, because we watched The Crown.
That's right.
The one king.
This is where we get all our information.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't know. Like, I just think I get like some people like, oh, Meghan, da-da-da. I kind of like Meghan, but like, she is a little actressy, but she is also an actress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know plenty of people like her. So like,
absolutely.
Like, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, she seems nice. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, who cares? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Who cares?
Exactly.
It's the royal family is the biggest who cares I could think of.
I was just curious if you like follow the hate. That's what I was curious
I have not.
about.
I mean, I'm aware of it.
Because I see people I know who post like nasty shit.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And you will tell me off mic who those people are.
Yes. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Like, you're going to get into this?
First of all, for anybody outside of England to even have an opinion is ridiculous.
I mean, I guess because they're like here now and like they're in California.
Who cares? Who cares? There's so many worse people.
I don't know.
There's so many worse famous people that are famous and rich for nothing.
That are famous and like, you know, yeah, I don't. I mean, I just read this. I read this article in the LA Times just last night about some showrunner that's like a piece of shit, and he got promoted on Law and Order SVU.
Great.
And all these people are
on that show of all shows.
What was so
particularly heinous?
I was laughing because, I mean, it's horrible and it's egregious behavior, and this guy is obviously like a rage addict or whatever. But like there were like multiple anecdotes of people who wouldn't go on the record describing various at different shows, like different employees, various meltdowns over the lunch order.
Oh, come on.
It was always like the lunch order.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I could not get over like how many people were like, I saw him like melt down over the lunch. And then one assistant apparently, like some people would not go on the record because they were scared of like retaliation.
Yeah.
But there was like one assistant that she just started ordering the same lunch as him so that like if he had like soggy nachos, she would be like, oh, mine are crispy, take mine.
Oh, God.
And I was like, this is a middle-aged man. This is a man in his 50s. It's like he's clearly like rage addicted or whatever.
There should be zero tolerance for that kind of bullshit. Like, if anything needs to be reformed, it's Hollywood. And
100%.
if people are like that, that should be shut down so quickly. So quickly. There's got to be a way where it's like everyone bands together and just shuts that shit down. If I
don't know, because I haven't worked in a room, like in a writer's room, although I want to one day, I think I want to one day.
Interesting.
I know. I just said that out loud and I was like, do I? I'm like, I think so. I want the experience of it one day just because it would, but I think it would be funny if your showrunner boss was like a nightmare and the lunch was like really it was always lunch, like a lunch issue, and everyone agreed to band together and shut it down and do something.
Yeah.
Basically feed him baby food.
That's
what I would be like. Oh no, he opens up the Mendocino Farm box and it's pureed peas and a bib and a sippy cup. And they're like,
spoon.
We found a lunch that you would definitely like. All of us pitched in.
Is this more to Sir's liking? But imagine this, okay? If something like this happens.
Yeah.
You get everybody together in the office.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to his office or the next big meeting we all have that he's going to be at.
Yes.
We're going to confront him. We're going to have an intervention.
And
we're going to record it on our phones.
Yes.
And we're going to say, hey, you need to stop yelling at people about lunch. And then it forces him to do what? Fire every single person?
Right, because he was firing certain people on the spot.
Exactly.
And then it made everyone silent.
Yeah.
Because it's oh, I don't want to say something next and be the next one. Yeah.
Guys, here's what you got to do. You got to trauma bond. You got to trauma bond immediately.
But what was so funny too is he didn't comment for the article, but he has a spokesperson, which I'm assuming is a lawyer. And this basically every allegation, the spokesperson was that absolutely did not happen, or that happened. He talked about sexual things in front of young women because it was in the context of pitching story for SVU or whatever.
Sure it was.
And it's oh my God, they always have that cover. That's a famous, wasn't there someone on the Friends writers room famously that said that he wanted who is Rachel and Ross or wanted Ross to fuck her in the shower. I don't know. It was some.
I don't remember that one. I just remember the dried twigs.
What were the dried? Wait, you're right. Say that again. Repeat it because I forgot.
I don't want to say the whole thing because it's terrible.
Then he said that somebody had a dry vagina. Someone on the cast
because they were so old. And then the cover was it's the
it's a
writer's
room.
room. We blow off steam and blah blah blah. Yeah.
It's we draw from our own experiences.
Do you still want to be in a writer's room?
Well, I've been around.
We draw from our own experiences.
That's what the guy said.
My mother has twigs in her vagina. Are you saying I can't talk about my own mother?
Why would you be talking about your mother's vagina? Okay. Oh, I do. I've been around comedy writers though. I've been in groups. I've been there.
Yeah, you've been around the worst.
But I don't think I've been sexually harassed by comedy people. Right. I've been sexually harassed in kitchens and workplaces.
Yes, absolutely.
But I wonder if it's because I'm with you. Mm-hmm. They know if they sexually hurt. Well,
you're not with me all the time.
No, I'm saying with you, married to right, or dating you or whatever.
But before dating, you knew comedy people before we got together.
I didn't have any bad. Did I have any bad comedy? It's and I waited tables and Louis C.K. would perform.
Yeah,
but he never came near me. Thank fucking Christ.
Yeah, too many people around.
No, I just think it for whatever reason he was a predator that looked for certain.
Yes,
okay.
But I also think that we travel in circles that are by and large more genteel. I mean, there's always people that you might find something out about and you're like, oh wow, I had no idea.
Right.
People that are on the edges of your circle.
Well, that kid, should I say?
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
kid-
yeah.
yeah.
There was a person in comedy that we knew that turned out to be a horrible abuser, and had to leave town, and then he became a Proud Boy or whatever.
Yeah.
Great.
He was always hanging around. He never
Yeah.
messed with me,
Yeah.
but I was like old enough to be his mother. So it was like he was like 18 when he was hanging around.
Was he really? I didn't realize. He was
Yeah,
hanging
because he was like always trying to bar back at like M Bar and
Oh,
like
right,
make
right,
extra
right.
money,
Yeah.
and him and his little comedy partner.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, they're so cute. And then it turned out he was like troubled.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean,
That's a very kind way of putting it. Yes.
well, I mean, I didn't.
No, of
I
course.
didn't mingle with the.
Yeah.
Like.
Okay, we should wrap it up. Do you have any recommendations?
Well, I'm enjoying the show. Fleischman is in trouble.
Fleischman is in trouble, I know.
I know. It's serious.
Fleischman, this Fleischman? He's in trouble.
I'm enjoying it quite a bit. It's on Hulu.
I kind of like it too, yeah.
I like it because it's fresh and it's
Exciting.
oh my God. You're
It's
like
fresh.
I'm listening to a podcast I'm in the middle of. I'm liking
Mm-hmm.
Sun Valley. Is that what it's called? It's a true crime.
Oh, really?
I gotta look it up. Sun Valley. If you want your next true crime listen, I was trying to listen to it on the plane. Bone Valley.
Sounds scary.
It's called Bone Valley, and I can't wait to see what happens in that. And I'm also reading a memoir I like.
Which one?
It's called Acceptance.
By?
I knew you were gonna fucking ask me that.
A memoir by Anonymous.
By someone like Emmy Neatfield. Emmy Neatfield.
What is it about?
Oh, it's about like Acceptance by Emmy Neatfeld. Emmy Neatfeld. Okay, it's about someone's coming of age, overcoming a lot of adversity.
Okay.
And I'm assuming getting to like an Ivy League education, because like the whole thing is like, how the fuck am I going to get Ivy League educated when I'm like, like in the fucking system and people are treating me like this and I have all these illnesses and problems and blah, blah. I mean, that sounds like it's not that exciting of a memoir, but I actually started reading it and I couldn't put it down because it was like really well written and interesting observations about adversity. Like not the typical observations about adversity. Someone who's really like questioning like, hey, this doesn't feel right. This isn't like the little like neurodivergent.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
I mean, I don't know if this person's to me it read that way.
Gotcha.
Like the angle that they're coming from.
Gotcha. I am reading.
I did 3. I gave 3. A TV, a podcast, and a book.
Don't make it a
podcast, and a book.
competition.
A TV, a podcast, and a book. All right, tell me things.
I want to recommend Less is Lost by Andrew Sean Greer.
A book?
A book that I'm really enjoying.
I read Less.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
I didn't know that you read it. I loved that book.
Really?
I thought it was great. And I think his turns of phrase are amazing. I really loved the character.
Yes.
And this is a sequel to that book.
Okay.
And I'm like probably 2/3 of the way through it. I'm really enjoying it. And I kind of don't want it to end.
I know how that is. Yeah.
It's a good feeling when you're reading a book like that.
Yeah.
TV wise, Slow Horses is back, baby.
That's your show, boy.
Very happy it's back. I've read all of the Slow Horses books by now. So I am ahead of the TV show. So it's fun to watch it, knowing the things that are going to happen and seeing them enacted, by a great cast. Really enjoying it. I've watched 3 episodes. I might be all caught up by now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you getting all caught up on your stories.
Right.
I would like to mention the shop that carries our official merch. I'm drinking from my weekend water glass right now. Don't sleep on these things for Christmas gifts, guys.
Tis the season, baby. And Kinship Goods.
Kinshipgoods.com. They do all of our merch. And they have a lot of great Christmas gifts
Yes,
in
they
addition to our merch.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do some Christmas shopping on the site.
Yeah,
but
there's
definitely recommend these weekend water glasses because they are so cool. I'm
They
drinking out
have
of one
clothes,
right
they have home goods, they have a variety of things. They're all, crafted lovingly by them in a shop in West Virginia. They just moved into a new, bigger space. Congratulations to Hillary and Dan on that.
So go to kinshipgifts.com.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff in their store. Also, the Deep Dive podcast, June Diane Raphael and Jessica St. Clair.
Yes.
They just started doing merch with them as well. So if you're a fan of that podcast, you can find it. But if you're a fan of that podcast, you probably know already.
If you're a fan of that podcast, you should buy our merch because we got here first. I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
I'm
not just kidding.
It's not a competition.
It is.
I'm just kidding. I love those guys. I love Jessica and June. Okay.
All right. So we're stayfhomekins@gmail.com. Stayfhomekins on the socials.
We're still on Twitter for now.
For now.
Until we find the replacement Twitter.
Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, it's all dumb shit. I wish it would all go away. Anyway, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. Happy holidays to you all.
Take care of
safe out there.
yourselves.
Oh, I tipped our sign off too soon. So we'll see you next month in the new year. See you next year. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay sane, and stay strong.